Hello, my name is Alan, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about the go-through overlay interface. The way we've built the go-through overlay, we wanted to make a tool that is very familiar with the photographer community, and that's why we've built it in structure like Photoshop. So the way you think when you work in Photoshop is similar with how you work in the go-through overlay editor. On the left side, we have the manager's active like panels. So on the bottom we have the asset manager, and in here we upload all the images, sounds that you will ever work with go through. So to add a new image, we just drag and drop it here and it shows up. If you notice, there is a little eye on the top right corner. I'm going to click on it and then I can delete this image. We support different views in the asset manager, and that's images, sound, and backups. And you can revert, like every time you save in the overlay editor, we create a file, and then you can go back to a previous file based on the date. So for example, this is saved on this date. Next is the theme manager, and theme manager is where you can choose what type of overlay you want, with a side menu, a top menu, a gallery menu, or a real estate. Later on we're going to add more themes in here. The plugin manager is the most important part of the overlay editor, because and you have to think about this as the tools that you have in Photoshop. So the way the plugin manager is, if you need a menu, you just click here and you add the menu to the project. If you want to add a control bar, just click here and add the control bar. If you want to add a hotspot, click here, add a hotspot, and so on. So you just, whenever you need to add something to the working area, you go to the plugin manager and you add it from there. Moving on the right side, we have two sections. One is the control, one is the active plugins. An active plugin is the same way like layers in Photoshop. So all the plugins that we just added here, they are automatically, we can see them in the active plugin area, so we can switch between them. And as in Photoshop, whenever you work on a particular tool, you have the settings on top of it. So in this particular case, the side menu, I have all the settings of the side menu on top. You can either scroll by hovering your mouse over the blue dot, or just with the scroll wheel, or you just drag this little bar here. So the active plugins area can be minimized, so you get access to the full to the full setting area. Now another thing that we have in here is, like, all the projects have a general setting area, and we're going to talk about this in a later video. Also, all the plugins have a tutorial video, so when you switch, you can access the tutorial video for that particular plugin by pressing the question mark. So right now I don't have the tutorials, but you will see them later on. Another part of the editor is this little image where you can see the whole constellation that you have, and you can jump inside the constellation by pressing the dots, or you see all the images in here and you can jump to a particular image by clicking on it. Another feature of the overlay editor is that you can add multiple tours. So you can build an overlay having multiple tours, and you can do that by clicking the plus button, and then you just select another store. So in this case, let's add the beer store from Church Street and click add. And right now you're gonna see we have 2 tours in here, and I don't need it, so I'm gonna delete it. Then we have the save. So whenever I would recommend to save at least once an hour. We have the publish button. So after you finished the project, you click on publish and you go to the overlay manager page. You can share the overlay with someone else that doesn't have access to your go-through account, and you just copy this link, and anyone with this link will be able to access the overlay. And you can turn the access, you can turn off the access by just switching this little button. And we have the language, so you can add multiple languages to the overlay, and this is really nice cool feature that we have in here. We're gonna talk in the language section. So yeah, and another features is down here where you can preview how the tour looks in the tablet mode and on the mobile mode. Okay, so this is the first tutorial from Go Through Overlay, and yeah, please check all the tutorials.